name is Marco Romero. I'm a real estate investor here in San Antonio. Carlos and I have done a lot of business together, and we brought our minds together to go ahead and create this show to give you, the audience, something impactful, something that you can really use, and really highlight Carlos's life as well as his experience and knowledge, so that we can cover subjects that can really help you and really help you along your life in a very impactful way.
Absolutely. So just to give you guys a little bit of history of who I am, I was born and raised in San Antonio. I grew up on the west side of town, zip code 78207. It's not anything that's glamorous, definitely kind of rough neighborhood back in the early 80s, early 90s.
But best breakfast tacos.
Absolutely. Authentic Mexican food. Can't go wrong. And during, my life, I've experienced a bunch of challenges growing up in that neighborhood. Statistically, it's hard for, men and women to come out and do exceptional things. I've been blessed and fortunate to be able to overcome tremendous amount of obstacles, which I want to share with you guys. I want to, give you guys some direction and guidance and use my experience so that you can have an example on how and what you should or could do to possibly get into a better stage in your life. I know it's challenging out there, and my purpose now is to give back the mindset that I've acquired over time to help people do exceptional things.
Definitely. Carlos and I, we've had a long history together, and we came together to really brainstorm this idea of bringing an impactful video series to people such as yourself. And Carlos has a unique story in his life where he has overcome obstacles and challenges to really bring his life to the next level and really improve the lives of himself and his family. And so we decided to come together to really showcase that and learn about how we can always improve and just tackle the subject of success and motivation and investing so that we can always improve where we are in our current day in life, but also our future. So that's the purpose of the show, and we're going to go ahead and go into that as well.
And just briefly, I want to touch on some of the defining moments of my life, my career, that actually allowed me to get on a different path. At one point, it really happened after high school, where, college wasn't in my future at that point, and I was just kind of lost. So after making several mistakes, what I had to figure out was what my purpose was, what I wanted to do, why was I here in this world. I grew up, didn't have, my father wasn't there, so there was challenges there. And I realized that I needed to be there for the people that needed me most, so didn't want to have that void within, the lives of my own family. Also, the next thing that I came across was having to take initiative. I would always ask people, which way do I go? What should I do? And no one told me what I could do. The only thing people ever would tell me was what I shouldn't do and what the consequences were going to be if I did something wrong. So, during that time, I made some adjustments, made some good decisions, bad decisions. But, as we go through the show, we'll touch on that.
Let me ask you this. So, obviously, you mentioned that you came from an area of San Antonio that statistically most people do not, they don't get out of their life situation that they are born into. But you mentioned that you kind of broke that mold, and that's what's inspiring you to share your message. But really, where did that start? Where did it come from for you to really start thinking a different route was possible and start taking actions to move you in that direction?
It took a long time to figure that out. It wasn't until after I had made several mistakes that I knew.
That's usually how it works, right?
Yeah. I made several mistakes, and I knew that the path that I was on was didn't have a good outcome. So I was probably in my early 20s. I think I was about 23 years old when I really started to realize that, man, I saw a trend. I saw just a cycle that I was in, and I was like, I need to stop right here. But at the same time, I was missing something, and that was the confidence within myself. It wasn't until, you know, I met my wife, and well, she wasn't my wife back then, but after we had our first child, you know, she decided to go back to college, and you know, she asked, I asked, I was like, I think I should go, and you know, she said, you should give it a shot. And you know, I've never heard anybody tell me that I should go to school. Anytime I've ever spoke to anybody about higher education, it was always negative. Oh, you don't need to go to school for this. You can do it all on your own. It's a waste of money. All you're gonna do is incur debt. So you know, that was the defining moment in my life where I actually knew my purpose. I knew I wanted to do something different. My family was my motive, and I knew I had to take the initiative to try something different. That I knew was the only thing left to do that I haven't done.
So it was really it was really your wife and the first person that really kind of gave you that support, or even planted the seed that, you know, you could do something, or you could go after getting a degree and there would be a positive outcome of that. So it was really that kind of that got you started actually hearing from someone else that it was possible?
Absolutely. And it was because for so long I hadn't heard anything like that from anyone. Not even from my mother. My mother just was like, just work. My grandmother, it doesn't matter what you do, just work. Okay, I got it. But you know, any job that I had was, I was like, man, I don't know if I can still work here. You know, I'm loading 18-wheelers for UPS. It's hot. It's summertime. You know,
it gets hot.
I'm stacking milk in the milk vault at Oak Farms Dairy. I'm like, man, there has to be a better way. This isn't working for me. So having that positive, you know, those positive words coming from someone that, you know, wants to see me do something better, that actually believed in me, was significant. And it wasn't until lately that I realized how powerful words are.
Right.
You know, positive words. You know, positive words. You put positive
and
words.
Negative ones.
And negative. Negative ones will destroy people.
Right.
And for generations. And I've seen it happen. So
where did you go from there? Once she said, hey, you should go after it. You should go to college. What happened from there?
Well, my initial thought was, you know, I wasn't a college type of guy, right? I was a C student in high school. I think I just passed my classes just so I can play football. Football kind of, you know, kind of saved me in a sense, kept me out of the streets. But once that was over, you know, there was nothing else to keep me away from trouble. I mean, I just was attracted to it. You know, I was always wanted to be in the mix. But then at that moment, college was the avenue. So I had to take the initiative to go to college. But then there was still barriers there, which was financing the education. Well, I was fortunate to get approved for grants and student loans, but the grants is what got me started. Like, I didn't have to pay the grants back. You know, I was single. Well, we were married. We filed married.
Sure.
Common law. You know, and so we got approved for grants, and that actually allowed me to get started in school. And so my initial thought was, let me just get started. Maybe I can get a degree, a trade, or something like that. Just an associate's, you know, because I thought that's what I was limited to at that time. You know, nobody ever told me I can get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree.
Sure.
So at that moment, I told her name's Tracy. I told Tracy, I said, hey, you know what? I'm gonna take one class, and if I pass, I will give it everything that I got. And if I fail, well, it wasn't meant to be. And that first course that I took was government, and
well, that's a fun first one.
it was
government right out the gate.
Yeah, so that was my first college course, and I remember towards the end we had to do a presentation, and man, I was so unprepared. I was reading slide after slide. I was thinking to myself, man, I'm gonna fail this class. This is it, you know. And after the presentation and the grades were being turned in, my professor came to me and says, Carlos, you know, I want to let you know you're not going to get the grade, you know, you probably want. But, you know, I want you to keep going. I'm thinking to myself, man, this guy's going to give me an F. I failed. It's over. And
it's not good when he's like, you're probably not going to get the grade you want.
Right. He said,
but you continue. You persevere.
Well, hear this out. So once he was done, he's like, look, you're going to get a C. I was like, thank you. I was so relieved. I was like, okay, thank you, because I really wanted this to work out. Because you were holding that in your hands and you didn't even know it.
That's awesome.
So from that point forward, I dedicated my entire time to college, and really just showing that I can do that. And my first 2 years in college, I turned into an honor student. I was accepted into the Honor Society. Every semester I made honor roll.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so I just got really involved at Northwest Visa. I got involved with the Student Leadership Institute. I was actually accepted into the Student Leadership Institute. So I started doing these things, and I started to have a positive attitude towards college. I'm like, man, this is great.
And belief in yourself.
And believing in myself, absolutely. Because I was never an honor student. So, but from that point forward, I had blind faith. I knew that I was on the right path. There was a lot of work that needed to be done. A lot of work that needed to be done. I was far from perfect, and it wasn't an immediate change. I still had numerous challenges ahead of me. So, and that's going to be something we're going to talk about, throughout the show. And I want to encourage people, to ask me questions as we go, because I have a ton of stories that I can relate to almost anybody on any level. I promise you.
I'm sure there's a lot of good stories along the way.
Absolutely.
So how did you go? You said college was the starting point. How did you get to where you are now?
So I went through college, and during that process, I ended up looking up the degree program at UTSA. So I had the transfer course from business administration to UTSA business administration with a concentration in real estate finance and development. And at that point, I was like, man, I can actually do this. My grades are great. I'm going to get accepted, and there should be nothing that stops me. Financial aid's rolling. I had student loans. I can get the student loans. I have everything that I need, so why not do it?
Right.
So I continued on through UTSA. When I transferred to UTSA, I worked on campus there. And then I got involved with the business fraternity, and I also I got accepted to the honors college at UTSA. I was really feeling myself at that time. I was like, man, honors college, what? I'm gonna make this happen. So I just kept going, and I persevered through all that, through college, through all the challenges, finals, late night studying, sessions, team projects, all that good stuff. And that whole time, it was just changing me. I was just changing mentally. I started filling my brain with all this education and knowledge, and it wasn't useless knowledge. It wasn't stuff that I was going to be able to use, because my degree, like I said, it was business administration. It was with a concentration in real estate finance. I knew that career-wise, I wanted to become wealthy, and I knew that there are certain vehicles that will allow you to get there. Some of them, being a doctor, being a lawyer. One thing I did identify is that the most successful men and women in the country are involved with real estate and real estate investing. So I was like, real estate. I saw that course. I was like, that's the one.
Yeah.
I'm going to go at it. After college, I graduated, and then it was back to trying to find a job. Mm-hmm. And that was another challenge. So I finished college. They're like, oh, great job, Carlos. How'd that go? All right.
Here's your diploma.
All right.
Good luck.
And you have all this debt you got to pay back. We'll give you 6 months. So I said, okay. At that time, I realized that, it was a bump in the road. I needed to find employment. So my brother's ex-wife actually gave me a job at Radio Shack. Yeah, not the best place in the world,
Okay, starting point.
Starting point. It's a stepping stone.
Right.
I know that I need to start somewhere. That was it. So I took that job, and I worked there until I found an opportunity in real estate investments, which was with my current brokerage, New Western Acquisitions. They actually met my cousin. First time I met my cousin at a Thanksgiving dinner, distant cousin, and they were talking about him and how successful he was. And
he works at New Western?
Yeah, he does, in Dallas. So
it's in the blood.
Yeah, man, and we started talking, and they were talking about how successful he was. I was like, man, that's amazing, man. Tell me more. I'm at Radio Shack right now. I got a degree in real estate finance. You know, I'm motivated. I'm hungry. I just need an opportunity. And he was telling me, well, yeah, man, this was during November, Thanksgiving in, I believe it was like 2012, maybe like 2010. I think it was 2010, something like that. And, you know, he said, we're going to open up an office in San Antonio. I was like, okay. Well, let me know when that happens. And at that point, I was like, well, it doesn't sound like it's a for sure thing. You know, it sounds like, you know, maybe it will come into fruition. And
but you kept your options open.
I kept my option open. But sure enough, my broker, Nathan Crone, he actually came into town. They already had the office established. He calls me up. He says, hey, Carlos, talk to your cousin JD. He says, you know, you're interested in real estate investing and working with us, and you know, I'd like to bring you in for an interview. I said, absolutely. I'm ready. Give me a shot. So I went down there, had an interview with him. They were just getting started. Business was non-existent. It was a new office. They had no network. They had, you know, no properties. So we're starting from scratch. He said, hey, man, you know, you can have a seat in here and be a sponge and just start to learn, you know, what we do and see if it's a good fit for you. I said, absolutely, thank you. I appreciate that. And he said, one thing is you have to get your real estate license. I was like, oh, real estate license, okay. I've heard that it's going to be a challenge for me to get my real estate license. You guys will find out soon why. But so I went in there and he let me sit around, and I actually started to pursue my real estate license. And it took me about 6 months, but I was able to get my real estate license. It was a blessing. And from that point, I haven't looked back. I've worked hard. In addition to that, though, when I first started at New Western, I went back to school, and I pursued my master's degree in business administration. Nobody told me I had to. Actually, people asked me why I was doing it. They were like, "Why are you doing that? You don't need that. I mean, you're good. You have a bachelor's." I said, "No, I'm not good enough.
Right.
I need more skills. I don't have it all."
You were trying to improve.
I needed to improve. You know, because the person that I wanted to become was sharp on all edges, man, and I knew that that's what I needed. So I actually pursued my master's degree, and with those first 2 years while I was working at New Western, I made very little money. I had my wife and children, and I was in college pursuing my master's degree. So I had all these things that were challenges, but I never made an excuse. I never said, well, you know, I can't do this because I have kids. I can't do this because I don't have any money. I can't do this because we only have one car. I never made an excuse. I said, I can do this. I'm going to figure out a way to get it done.
To make it happen.
To make it happen. And ever since then, I've kept that attitude with everything that I do. And I haven't looked back since. And right now, currently, I think I mentioned this in the beginning, is I'm the general manager of our Northwest office. My company is building out an office for me and my team right out here, 1604 Lock Hill, Selma, brand new build.
That's the only way you would have it.
Man.
They said, if we have an office over here that's pre-existing, you're like, no. It needs to be new built. They said, okay.
I don't think that was my choice. I think it was just something that was given to me just because of all the work that I've been putting in, and you know, it's
they saw you valuable enough to go ahead and build a new office, create a new office here in town, that kind of thing.
Right, and it wasn't just, you know, hey, you know, here I am. It's like, hey, you need to prove yourself. You need to prove yourself why you deserve this, you know.
Right.
And so when I was able to, you know, show them, then they believed in me, you know. So the actions did all the talking. I did very little talking. I did a lot of actions, a lot of you know, doing. So for me, that was, you know, the defining moment. And from this point moving forward, what I realized that all I'm going to experience are degrees of success. But it means nothing to me if I can't have a positive impact on people's lives. My family, brothers, sisters, mothers, you know, anyone and everyone, friends, anyone that has faced tremendous challenges, you know, it means nothing to me if I can't use these experiences to give somebody something, some positive words, that you can do it mindset, that you can achieve anything that you want when you put your mind to it, that you are as great as you want to be, that no one can stop you. You know, your mind is so powerful. It's more powerful than you even acknowledge. And I want people to know how great they really, really are when they focus and they zero in on what they want to accomplish and they give their life a purpose. Because at the end of the day, there's so much hate in this world. There's so much negativity. We need to counter that. And that's what we're doing. We're countering that with some positivity and showing people that there is opportunity here in this country, in your city, in your neighborhood. There's a way out, and it's through your own mind. And you know, throughout this show, we're gonna show you how to use your mind. And if you have questions, what and how, or anything that you want, you know, some advice or something that I can relate to, you know, I'm gonna be an open book, and I'll pour it all out, you know, because I don't want to hold this back. To me, it's useful, and it's been so powerful that, you know, it's time to give back. And you guys can follow me on this journey as I experience success, as we experience more success, because that's our mindset, and we're going to share that.
Right, definitely. I mean, the beauty here is that Carlos has a lot of expertise and a lot of knowledge by learning the right way and sometimes the wrong way. But the whole point here is to basically show everyone that there are some great principles out there that are in all kinds of different books and seminars and things like that. And some of it just comes from experience, and Carlos is here to show that. Brian Tracy says something that's really awesome, that no one is better than you and no one's smarter than you, and that the possibility is there for you. So the purpose of the show, again, is just to relay that message, to give advice, to give experience, to give knowledge, and to go on this journey together so that we can all grow as individuals and reach those different pillars and levels of success that you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. Most importantly, the goal of this show is going to change people's mindsets. Napoleon Hill is one of the authors that I've been following, and him and Andrew Carnegie had developed the 17 Principles of Individual Achievement. That's something that I've adopted. I'm working on mastering right now, and I want to share that with everybody. Think Your Way to Wealth by Napoleon Hill is a book I think everybody should, you know, start to read or listen to the audio version. It's that's been a huge component to how my mindset has evolved and will continue to evolve, and is going to allow me to continue to grow and you know, provide some kind of positivity for people that I'm around, and the people that are going to be watching us as well. So
something of value that can be impactful. So Carlos, obviously we're going to go over different topics. Each week's going to be a little bit different. Right. The goal is to have some interaction by the audience. So what are some of the things that you're looking for the people that are watching to do? How can they interact?
For the most part, I will be sharing the videos on YouTube and Facebook. So those are going to be the primary media outlets that I will be using. So if I'm on Facebook, just leave a comment at the bottom if you have a question, or you can send me a message, private message, if you want it to be private. That's fine. And I will answer your questions as we continue to go. You know,
and we'll answer them here on the show too.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll select the questions, answer them here on the show, and you know, really give people, you know, something that they can chew on that's going to help them, you know, improve their lives. It's not about me; it's about you. It's the most important thing I want you to know.
That's right. All right, awesome. Well, we're excited to go on this journey. We're excited to interact with you and grow together. Carlos has a lot of great information and, like I said, wisdom to give, but it's something that really goes well when we're interacting with one another. So we're really looking forward to your comments and your questions, and we'll go from there.